Well, hello there, everyone. I talk about for TV though, and if we're going to be talking about satellite TV and of course HD television and what other cable companies would be offering, but you have right here that I went ahead and did this design right here. If it was be talking about like a television screen right here, and I know that I could probably show other examples later on, but you see right here. As I want to put together right here, this was right here was supposed to be like an advertisement right here. You have right here is I include a picture of me right there with the little portable set. And I know that some of these TV advertisements that you're going to see to where quite a few of them are going to talk about where they now offer TV service for mobile devices and other sorts of electronic devices. But I could probably say too that yeah, that you're gonna maybe be getting all kinds of things in the mail, but still that one of those could also maybe relate to the candy bar club or something like that. I'm like, yeah, how many of us we may have gotten a variety of things in the mail, but other than maybe first aid supplies. I'm like, yeah, how many of us? How often are we going to be getting anything related to maybe anything about making sure that you have everything that you need in case if it's urgent, emergency supply kits, or if it's first aid kits. But a lot of the things that I do see advertised in the mail or on TV, on the radio, is mainly going to be about television, and so it's like, yeah, that reasons to maybe why somebody would want to buy call and just I'm like, yeah, call a number on those advertisements just to be able to get to purchase maybe one of the packages. But you have right here, I'll go and draw right here as a satellite. I was thinking about doing this working this on my computer also, but I'm like, well, really that how many? I'm like, yeah, do like a little advertisement right here. And I was just thinking too that since I'm like, yeah, been busy in finals and making sure I'm like, yeah, that all the work that I've been doing here, and so in case of anybody that may warrant to where that certain things that I did not include, but still, you have right here with the satellite right here. So the satellite, the satellite dish would look a little bit like this right here. And I know since I was a kid, though, that in case of anybody were warned, where that if you were to buy the actual equipment, from your own pocket money, and let's just say that, certain ways of how the satellite dish will be mounted up on outside the house, and in case of anybody that may warrant to where that it can't be mounted anywhere where there's going to be what you call where there's going to be maybe not too much sunlight or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I really don't know what the rules are so far as how the satellite dish needs to be installed. But I guess if this was maybe the side of the house or somewhere like that, and then the satellite dish will need to be properly installed about right here. So whenever the satellites at first were introduced, I think it was back in early in 1995, whenever satellite TV was first announced. That I'm sure a lot of people were getting it maybe because that maybe more channels, and then it was also that maybe that you were offered that maybe a special buy from somebody that you know. So there might be reasons to maybe why you switched to satellite was because that you had a neighbor that was living in your neighborhood that was telling you about it, and you get more channels, and plus you have more. I'm like, yeah, it gives you more control. I'm like, nowadays that they have this DVR stuff to where that you can actually pause and rewind, and like on demand stuff, we can actually pause shows and watch them anytime, that sorts of stuff. But also that staying posted about what's going on the news, though. So in case of anybody that may want, where the main purpose to why maybe customers would maybe want to buy, want to go ahead and if they're going to be getting these sorts of advertisements in the mail. And I don't think free is going to get their attention. And I'll have to say sorry about that, but I'll tell anybody that free, you see hear about that to where free this and free that, But I tell you one thing, though, I just really think too is to where that why don't you say something more like, stay posted today, to stay posted today about the latest news and headlines, or maybe the newest, the latest technology or something like that. Stay updated. That please sign up today or something like that, or that maybe really about how many of us have had that to where that you get whenever you get a bill, whenever you have a coupon in the mail, and whenever you get a bill in the mail, that's a different story. And in case of anybody that may say that they might have missed or they might have assumed, is to where that that was only maybe for a limited time or something like that. But really, though, in case of anybody that may want to, we're all going to have our own opinion about stuff. But I tell you one thing, though, that that if I were to get satellite at some point, then maybe I would want to check out the dish, because I know I've been big on, I've liked electronics since I was a kid. Even the VCRs and the radios and big screen, the stereo systems and microphones. And if I were to get satellite one of these days, and maybe I would like that, look at the dish. I'm like, yeah, exactly. How does it work? And exactly that. Look at the dish, but in case of anybody that may wonder too, that really, if there's really anything exciting about what the dish and what the box looks like. So you have right here is the dish right here, and then the box. The box would look something more like this right here. That you would connect that to your TV, and it would all come like that. In the package right there. And so that the box would look something more like this right here. And the connections, and I'm sure most of us who would know a little bit more about that, about how to get the picture, sound, and a good reception with the TV antenna and all that, how all that stuff works. But you got the connector jacks on the back right there, and so it's like that. Whenever you're going to be getting a satellite, though, it might just be a little bit different, but still, though, that it's just think about as to where how customers, what would make it more convenient, for customers really to want to buy, and a lot of times what I usually see on these advertisements is that the bill, the cost of it is cheaper. And I'll have to say too that really that what's going to get me really to sign up, just to be able to get satellite, if anything, is maybe to check out the new technology, the HD television set, and maybe if you have more than one TV, then you will add an additional at no charge or something like that. So really, that free is not going, free or cheaper. I'm like, if anything, it's going to be cheaper. But I'll have to tell them that free is not going to get me to sign up. If anything, just to check out the new source of about checking out satellite, checking out the new technology. And that's going to be my reason to maybe why, in the near future, if I do want to get satellite or get another source of TV providers, to check out the new offers and the new technology. I'm not really going to pay attention to all this, free stuff. But still, though, that the only time maybe that's something that would be free, maybe is to where, if you're going to be giving them a call maybe by that Monday morning or something, at least by 10 a.m. and wanting to get a package or something like that. But you have right here, talk about for today's Washington, channel right here, and they were channel 503. So I know back when I was a kid, that if most of us remember that the local stations, that you only got about maybe 5 or maybe 8 channels at a time. But, nowadays with the cable company, they would have it to where some of the channels would go up to number 500. So let's just say that if you were to be getting cable, and you're like, okay, you get cable, and then, or satellite, and then you're like, oh, okay, you get the packages, but then, it's like, you get the TV guide also. So in case of anybody that may want to where that whenever you do get TV, though, that the TV package, though, that sometimes that you might be quite used to, where that the channels, you're used to only getting about maybe 11 or 12 channels, for per TV, if you got maybe about 3 television sets around. And you're also thinking too necessarily that that you're trying to understand about whenever you change a channel. It goes from like a channel 64 to 78 or maybe 102 or something like that. So yeah, that and I know, like, yeah, that whenever I was growing up, of course, there was like a lot of cable channels. Besides maybe the news channels, if it was CNN or Fox News Channel, there was also HBO. I'm sure most of us can remember. I'm like, yeah. Besides seeing on one of those movies about the cable guy, or I'm like any any movies like that whenever you're going to be getting cable, that or satellite, that if you're going to have like a Hulu account or Netflix, that you're like, say that whenever you get cable, whenever you sign up for a package, then you want to go ahead and get the Stars and Encore and HBO channels. HBO, I'm like, they had HBO 1 and HBO 2. So yeah, a lot of the HBO channels, and so you're likely thinking is that maybe you will be able to get those for free or get them cheaper, but I could say too is that that with cable TV and satellite, and I guess you could say that most of the people here say that refer to you as satellite, because I know a lot of the advertisements I usually get are related to satellite, or some of it is cable also. But a lot of the times that you hear about that, about talking about free though. But how often we say that whenever your TV shows a real good picture on something. It could be like maybe Cartoon Network, or if it could be the Fox News Channel, or some CNSBN News or something like that. Maybe the Sports Networks channels. So you have these different packages, and but then you see like this big I'm like, yeah, HD channels. You see on the very top it says right there, free. And I could say, I'm like, yeah, in case if anybody that wonders, is that, they might have their own opinion about what they think about it, but I tell you one thing, though, that free, though, that, free, HD, free this, free that, and, at the time, that with a lot of these advertisements, though, that, how come, yeah, for more information, some of these advertisements here, for more information, for more information, why is it that they don't write anything like that? For more information. And I know I've seen some of that stuff on some of these advertisements, but still, that sometimes it seems like that, you might have a few customers that might even say that they're not happy because, some certain reasons, but, still, that whenever you see a lot of these advertisements, though, a lot of times that you see price estimates, and, if it's like maybe like a sales coupon or something like that. But really, though, that whenever we're talking about satellite, though, and I'll go ahead and show right here, this satellite right here, that in case of anybody that may wonder to where that, if you had a satellite dish mounted up right next to your bedroom window, and, in case if your friends want to know about, exactly. Back during the day, it was back in early of 1997, something like that. If there was any friends that I had over in my bedroom and want to know about, if you got your own satellite TV, so you would maybe want to draw friends, to come over to your house. They go into your bedroom just to watch the television. I'm like, yeah, just to watch cartoons, especially like on a Saturday morning. You're going to have a few friends that want to go into your bedroom just to watch Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon channels. But still, though, that during that time, I think it would have been about maybe $300 or $400, something like that. I'll go ahead and write on here. Yeah, the best estimate is that it'll be about $400. I would say about right around $400 it would cost just for the equipment and just for the monthly billing, and in case if anybody say well, even if you were to split the cost into a lot of that what you're getting, but so and let's just say if you had a family of about maybe 5 people that you say they buy the package including the box, and then they buy the dish, and they buy the whole kit that comes with the dish, and then the connector jacks, and then the box right there. and whoever that can get it to work, and then that gets the like, yeah, they'll split the cost of the service of the satellite, but still that they'll split the cost, but still that you might say is this to where whoever that can get it working can get it for free, or they can get it the cheapest. So let's just say if one person that pays maybe $12.99 and everybody else has to pay $39.99 or so, for the package. But for each person who wants to have satellite in their bedrooms. And so yeah, that I know a lot of these advertisements though are going to be mentioning about up to five, I guess five rooms for free or something like that. So if we were to actually do the math right here, including taxes, and so yeah, $400. So yeah, that so I don't know about everybody else, but still though that if anything that maybe free they only, I'm like, yeah, most of those sales, but still most of them are going to say that after about maybe 3 months, and then they'll give it to you for only a certain time for free. But we know how most of the coupons do work. Most coupons, the way coupons work, that they're only like a limited time. So if you don't use them, and then they're going to expire. So in case of anybody that may want to where that, you get a coupon, you might still keep that coupon for a long time, but just knowing about whenever it expires, and it's like, we might think that that's not fair, that it's expired and you can't use it, but still though that with I guess if you want to call us as to where that one of these days whenever I do get satellite, in case of anybody that may wonder to where that dish, the dish is the dish kind of like an antenna, and especially if there's going to be a storm that going by, that depending on how it's mounted also, but still though that to stay updated about about the latest news and all that, but still that in case of anybody that may wonder to where that certain channels that they've seen on the cable packages, but sometimes though if there's like today's Washington, I'm like, if there's a channel that's called like known as for today's Washington, to where that like maybe like a little bit like the Smithsonian channel, but all these other channels that they're going to advertise, but the way I think about it too, that some might say that the reason the package they got includes like the channels like Stars and Encore and Cinemax, but how many of us have one or two as to where that a lot of those movie channels play about the same movies during it. I'm like, if it's the science fiction channel, I'm like that you got about maybe 11 different movie channels, and some of them, quite a few of them, are going to be playing the same thing. It's not like a variety. Some of them are old movies also. So like if I can remember right, one of my favorite channels was AMC, American Movie Classics it was, and then it was also like Hallmark Channel and all those other channels too, that so in case of anybody that may wonder to where that how come advanced remote control, and so in case of anybody that may say that that they're going to go ahead and call and get like satellite, get a package from like a company like DirecTV or Dish Network, or if it's going to be another source of a company such as Spectrum Internet, like Spectrum TV, or Mediacom, or any other company, and they're all, like I say, is to where that I want something with advanced remote control. I can, you heard me. You have almost everything else other than except advanced remote control. Nobody's going to maybe want to watch TV if they have to get up and, just to be able to turn the channel. Like, just to turn the TV on. Just to turn the TV on. Wouldn't you think that you would offer all your customers something like this, to where advanced remote control? Okay, advanced remote control. You know what I'm talking about. Advanced remote control. Something that has a rechargeable battery. Rechargeable battery and a flashlight. You want all that to be on a remote control? You're going to offer almost everything else, aren't you? So it's like, advanced remote control, something with the rechargeable battery and something that that has like maybe a timer on there to whenever a dinner is ready or something like that. So in case of anybody that may want to where that if you're the only way that you're going to maybe get cable again maybe is if you have it to where advanced remote control. And let's just say that, just for the service or something like that, it's about an extra $10 or something like that for the service on the remote control and the receiver. But have it to where a rechargeable battery for the remote control and a flashlight on the remote control. And like I say, and don't say that you want a mirror on the remote control, and that too. So in case of anybody that may say, yeah, you look on the back of the remote control and there's like a mirror, like a way of which you call reflection. I'm like, remote controls were not designed. I'm like, yeah, well, you're going to have almost everything else, aren't you? You're going to have the Disney and then the Looney Tune channels or whichever you call it, but you're just not going to offer anything at the make. It's like that if you want to come home one of these days and sit down and relax and turn the TV on, the last thing you have to remember is having to get up and just to change the channel, whichever. Have something that allows it to where that you can hold something in your hand to be able to operate the TV. Have your guests that come over and you want to show them something. If anything, it's going to be the remote control. It's not going to be a cable wire. And it's not going to be anything about it as to where if the TV walks and talks or whichever you call it, it's going to be the remote control. So you're likely thinking as to where that, exactly about what I was thinking about whenever this picture was taken. It's taken about, wireless remote, battery operated. Yeah, battery operated TV. In case of anybody that may want to where that, during that time, during the time that you were having that picture taken, it looked like to me that you were trying to figure out how to work the controls and try to move the TV at the same time. So in case of anybody that may want to, or by the time you get the TV to work, and then you're likely wanting to where that are you going to maybe try to move the TV by the time you get the TV to work? If it's battery operated, if it's wireless. But anyway, talk about for satellite TV though. So it's like say So in case of this, I really don't know the details about what the box would look like, but let's just say if this was example right here, what the box would look like right here. And if it's portable and if it's compact, if it's a little small device, but still though that if you're going to have satellite though, and at the time back whenever you had cable, like back whenever I was a kid, that quite a few of those cable packages that would require a box. But sometimes though, that there are some cable packages that don't require a box, and sometimes you're like learned to where that it gives you more channels to watch. But what is the reason to maybe why? It's like some customers that may warrant to where how come everything cannot be directly routed to the back of the television set other than rely on this box here? Because with the box that maybe you won't have to bother with the connection switches and all that, but still that it's like there's a technician that comes out to help you get connected, but still that so I guess we may have our own reasons to why certain things, why they work a certain way, but talk about here to stay posted with with today, so it's like stay posted besides this free HD stuff, to stay posted with what's going on today. And so that's the only reason why that telling everybody too is that talk about for satellite though. No matter if it's only about maybe $50 a month or something like that, or maybe $120 or so dollars, that you're also thinking too is that exactly that if you're going to be getting satellite, and then it might show a real good picture on a big screen, and you say if it's going to show a real big picture and people are going to want to talk to you, people want to go into your bedroom, and so if you were like me whenever I was young, that you're likely say is to where back whenever you were young, that the things that you did back whenever you were young just to get people's attention, even your friends, you try to get them to come to your room. That you made a little TV stand out of recyclable toothpicks or something like that. But still that if you want to show them something cool, come to my room and I'll show you. But still that with anything, they say that, yeah, sometimes that some of those friends are going to maybe say that, if you get it to work and I'll come over. Yeah, can you show me about how this, how can you get this thing to work? Because I can't figure it out here. What code do I have to enter just to be able to pick up channels or whichever? But still, that you have right there is with the satellite, and so it's like, yeah, satellite. I'm thinking it was probably announced back in early of 1995. I'm like, yeah, that maybe in 1997, something like that. Whenever satellite was first announced, that when people were getting satellite, and that they may have gotten it maybe because it was cheaper. They may have gotten it maybe because it was more channels, but I guess how many of us, maybe 50 or 80% of us or something like that, are going to maybe say that they offer more channels. Satellite offers more channels. It's not really about, oh, well, are you always going to agree on the prices? But still, though, that you get more channels, and then plus if you got the on-demand and then the TV programming options. But anyway, other than that, talking about, for satellite TV and what we see on these advertisements, for the Today's Washington channel. So it's like, yeah. And I think, yeah, the Weather Channel also, I know that whenever my family got, cable back during the day too, that the first thing that we did want to watch a lot of times was the Weather Channel. And yeah, the Weather Channel, I'm like, you wonder too, that how come they never had the Weather Channel 2 or the Weather Channel 3? Weather Channel 3, I'm like, do we call those sequels or do we call those, okay, that's just the addition, Weather Channel Plus or something like that, Weather Channel Extreme. We can actually talk to the meteorologist by text messaging or something like that. The Weather Network 2. Weather Network 2 is we can actually talk to the meteorologist and weather station people, and you can actually ask them a question about, where that storm warning is located, and you have access to the Doppler radar and all that stuff. But anyway, but that's other things to figure out and just to explore, more for later on. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Talk about, for satellite TV, for HD. But other than that, it's like, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.